But from an offensive philosophy standpoint, spread attack, LSU has not shown as of yet to be putting the ball under center, although they have some a little. But I think it should show you what we've been talking about all off season. RPOs, zone reads. Guys, every play to the running back, every play has a zone read concept behind it. Every one. Every single one. That goes for Miles Brennan. That goes for Garrett Nussmeier. That goes for Jane Daniels. That goes for Walker Howard. They're going to have action on the backside of a play. So if the quarterback wants to pull it and throw it, pull it, take off, they can do so. What quarterback do you think that benefits the most? But Mike Jones comes on this show and he talks about accountability, and that's all that they want to talk about Saturday when they have the players in specific access. Not only is Brian Kelly holding the players accountable, he's holding everyone in that building accountable. There's one central focus. I don't know how it's going to translate on the field right now. We're about to do this offensive deep dive. We'll talk about it. Talk about what I think. But as far as there ever being any more of a concern for Brian Kelly, for whatever it's worth, there really shouldn't be. So you might be asking yourself, well, Blake, what are you specifically talking about? I would tell you to read between the lines. Recruits coming on campus, recruits being around players, recruits being around the new Brian Kelly era, not just talking to Brian, or not just talking to their position coach or Frank Wilson, talking to Brian Kelly. Now you have a situation where you have probably, in my generation, the second best LSU Tiger of all time when it comes to football, and Tyrann Mathieu in that building for an entire week. Hey, man, take it back to 2008, Franklinton, Louisiana, baby. As my old Pee Wee coach and former or father to former number 18 Brandon Taylor, take that shit to the pile. Now, what he meant by that is the field that we practiced on had huge mounds of dirt, and we would practice on this all grass field, large mounds of dirt. And if we missed an assignment, you ran your ass to the pile and you ran back. Looking back on it, it was probably 50 yards, there and back, or probably 50 yards there and then 50 yards back. So, I mean, it wasn't really that bad if you really think about it. But when I was a kid, I felt like I told my mom one time, it's like, Mama, Coach Taylor made me run 7 miles today. She's like, dude, what now? It's like, yeah, 7 miles. Ran to the pile 7 times. 7 miles. She's like, Blake, that's not 7 miles. The New Orleans Saints got to make a move. The Saints have to make a move. If you haven't been watching it, they cleared all the, how have you not been watching it? But just in case you haven't, the Saints cleared a lot of cap room to get Deshaun Watson. Newsflash, as everybody knows, they didn't get Deshaun Watson. But they bring in Jameis Winston. Jameis says he's ready to go. Jameis is saying all the right things. Now, if you missed my clip on Jameis Winston when he came back, I highly urge you go watch it. Jameis did not play bad last season at all. Go back and look at it. I actually think I have the stats here. 5 TDs against the Packers, 14 for 20. 19 of 35, 222 yards against Seattle with a touchdown. Had 8 rushes for 40 yards. Ran to the 1-yard line for you to win that football game. 74% completion percentage against the Patriots, 226 yards, a touchdown. Washington, which was probably his worst game, went 15 of 30, 279 yards, 4 touchdowns and an interception, a long bomb to Deontay Harris or Deontay Hardy, whatever you want to call it. Look, Jameis played decent last season. He played above average. If you want to win, you got to go get him weapons. Stop with the BS. Stop with the we think this guy that we picked up on the practice squad is going to go do good. If you're planning and anticipating Chris Olave from Ohio State to be there at 18, I don't know what to tell you. There's some good receivers in this class. You're going to have to start going outside of the offensive line, and I know that you got to do big things up front, but you draft Marcus Davenport a couple seasons ago. You have Cam Jordan. Then you draft Peyton Turner. You got to go get an offensive weapon. If Alvin Kamara is going to be suspended 6 to 8 games. You can't leave Jameis out there on an island.